Reconstruction of Ancient Lake After Peat Excavation, a case study about water quality. In this presentation, our goal is to offer you a quick summary of the research and conclusions. Please follow the links to review the research in further details. Thanks to all the authors and publishers for making this research public, thereby advancing science and innovation. Maintaining good water quality in reservoirs created after exploitation of peat is critical. This paper presents a case study which goes into details of the process. According to regulations in some European countries, peat is treated as a fossil fuel or soil for mushroom horticulture, and its management is subject to the law for mining activities. As a result of the exploitation of peat bogs, the cutaway or pit lakes remain, which when properly prepared and maintained can become local water resources. The site location is in the Greater Poland region. The geology of the watershed is the effect of Baltic ice deglaciation in the Holocene, and in the site of an ancient lake peat developed. Exploitation of the peat and the simultaneous construction of the reservoir was carried out in two stages as shown in parts A and B. Peat was mined using the open cast method and extracted from an anaerobic layers. After the extraction of the peat deposit, the reclamation work began, including the appropriate shaping of the surrounding area and bottom, leveling the banks and softening the slopes of the planned water reservoir, and then filling it with water. Given the geology of the area, the reservoir formation was nothing but reconstruction of an old, natural reservoir of glacial origin. Prior to the peat deposit exploitation, the groundwater level was regulated by a system of drainage ditches. The slopes of the reservoir were made from moraine clay and create an impermeable basin. As a result of the undertaken works, a unique water reservoir with natural lake slopes and a very extensive and picturesque coastline was formed. Water samples to be analyzed were collected 4 times per year from the surface. Geobotanical studies were undertaken and the reservoirs was filled with various species from the cyprinids group and fish. The reservoir from the beginning was used for angling recreation with no-kill rules only. Regular statistical analyses were carried out. Results of the rehabilitation were encouraging, with 30 plant species were recorded in the water and on the bank side with stable water level due to the substrate made of clay. The results of the physiochemical analyses of water in parts A and B of the reservoir before and after their connection showed that the water quality was appropriate for the fish population, especially cyprinids. This study shows that construction of water reservoirs and simultaneous afforestation can improve the diversification of the landscape and its functionality. The reservoir was used for recreational purposes for local inhabitants and for the maintenance of biodiversity in the area. Various communities observed in waters. It can be presumed that decades after establishment of this lake, it initiated natural processes in the riparian zone which will result in development of aquatic plant classes. chemical analysis indicate high load of organic matter. Significant variability was also noted in the oxygen content in the water. Throughout the period of the study, the pH value of about 8.5 in the reservoir water was almost stable. After the connection of both parts, the water quality was stabilizing. It can be supposed that the removal of all Gicha deposits would be beneficial for the reservoir, because any layer of organic material could affect water quality parameters. The water quality parameters presented in this paper were appropriate for cyprinids. High quantities of roach, perch, and gibel carp were observed. Control of crucian carp population in the studied lake may be helpful in the maintenance of long-term good water quality. In conclusion, Pitt Lake Water Reservoir was successfully recreated in the place of a former lake with stable water table and chemical parameters, resulting in the healthy mix of flora and fauna. This model can be used for other similar projects.